Hello, welcome to Board Game Tutorials with Carissa. Today we're going to be going over fantastic factories, where we are essentially building a bunch of factories to try and gain points and make goods. I'll go over a few of the main elements. We have our own little board, which we will put dice on. We have a personal set of dice. We have extra dice that can be gained with certain cards and certain factories. We have the goods which we're trying to produce, and each one of these provides 1 point. We have energy and metal tokens, and these are our currency that we use to build factories. We have factory blueprint cards, and there are 5 different types, which I will go over. There's a legend here, and there is a card for solo play, so you can play this by yourself. And there are contractor cards, and these are cards that we can buy from the market to help us build our factories. The goal is to gain as many points as possible. Let's play. In this game, you use your dice to get cards, energy, or metal. You use the energy and metal to get factory blueprints that you build, and those cards you use to gain goods, points, more energy and metal, and you can also use contractors by paying one of these cards, as well as some of them have an extra cost. To win the game, you have to have the most amount of points, which can be from cards, but can also be from the goods. As marked on your turn card, on everyone's turn, they would grab one of these cards for free, or they can pay one of these cards to get a contractor. The cost of the card for the contractor has to have the symbol matching. So if I wanted to get this architect, I would need this symbol on the card. So I could pay with this card or this card. I could get the specialist with this card because it has the wrench symbol, and the wrench symbol goes with that card. The second phase is the work phase. And on the work phase, and everyone does this at the same time, you roll your dice and you place the dice on these spots on your headquarters card. This top spot is for extra factory blueprints, and it's the number on the dice is equal to the number of cards you receive. For the generate energy, this one is the dice has to be a 1, 2, or 3 value, and that gets you that many energy. For the mine, for metal, it needs to be the value 4, 5, or 6, and it just gets you 1 metal per die. Match bonus, if 2 of them are the same, if 2 dice have the same value, you get 1 extra of whatever you're getting. And then, of course, if all 3, you get 2 extra. Also during the work phase is when you can build factories. To build a factory, you must choose something that you would like to build. So if I want to build this obelisk, I would have to pay 3 metal, 1 energy, and a card that has the same symbol as the factory that I want to build. So I would have to pay 3 metal, 1 energy, and then I place this down, and then I would place this one into a discard pile. And that is the cost of building any factory. As listed on your legend card, there are 5 different types of buildings that you can make. There's production, which manufactures goods, training, which modifies the workers, which are your dice, utility, which produces resources, which is either energy, metal, or goods. There's monuments that are worth extra prestige, and prestige in this game means points. And then there's special cards that have unique effects. The game ends after somebody has built their 10th factory. They can build over that during their turn, and everybody gets 1 more round after that is finished. Or someone produces 12 of these goods. That's when everybody gets one more round, and then the game is over and we count the points. Now I'm going to play a few turns so you can see how it works, and then I will simulate gameplay as though we are playing against at least one other person. To begin the game, everybody gets a headquarters card. There are 4 dice, 2 energy, a medal, and 4 starting factory blueprints. To get started, in turn order, we have to go through the market phase and then the work phase. The market phase is where we take a factory blueprint from the market, or we pay to use a contractor. I'm not going to pay to use a contractor yet, but these are the cards that I was dealt with at the very beginning. So let's say I want to build this trash compactor. So I would need 2 metal and 1 energy. I only have 1 metal, but I have 2 energy. But I would also need another card that has this symbol on it to trash that as I build this. So on my turn, I'm going to take this gymnasium so that that can be my trashed card. And then we refill that. And then other people around the table take their turns. Now is when we assign workers. So we roll the dice, and all players can do this part simultaneously. I'm going to roll my dice. These are my workers. So I know that I need 1 extra metal. So I'm going to take the 6 and 5 and put it down here because the values to gain metal have to be 4, 5, or 6. So I'm going to put both of these down here to gain 2 metal. So I take 2 metal. I am going to put 1 here and get 1 extra card from the pile, not from the market. And then I'm going to put this 2 here so that I get 2 more energy. We are still in the work phase. I'm going to build this trash compactor. So I need to trash a card with the same symbol, so that goes in the discard pile. I place this down in front of me, and that's going to cost me 2 of my metal and 1 energy. And now I can use this card in the future to help me gain goods, cards, and then at the end of the game it will have points. All right, in market phase 2, I'm actually going to take 1 of my cards, this one that has this symbol, and I'm going to pay that to get the hired hands. Now at the top is an extra cost, so that's going to cost me an extra 3 energy to get these guys, and I will explain that in a minute. So I'm going to pay my 3 energy and this card in order to get the hired hands, and then I refill that row, and then the next person goes. So what hired hands does is I get 2 extra dice at the start of this work phase. So most of the contractors are usually only used for 1 turn, but I get 2 extra dice, so I get to take these 2, and when I roll my dice during the work phase, I get to roll 2 extra to get more resources. Now I would like to build this obelisk, because you may build more than 1 obelisk. It's a monument, and they're usually worth quite a few points. But I need metal, and I also am out of energy. So now I'm going to roll all my dice and see if I can't get some more energy, some metal, and some cards. Because if I have extra cards, I can use this building that I built. I got 2 pairs and then a 1 and a 2. So I'm going to use my 2 6s to get 3 metal. So 1 metal per die plus an extra metal because they match. I'm going to use my 1 to pick up another card. I'm going to use my 2 to get another couple energy. And then, because I picked up 2 cards that I am willing to part with, I'm going to put my pair of 5s here. So the pair of 5s plus 2 cards discarded gives me 2 of these goods. So now I have 2 goods. I've used my hired hands, so I put that in the discard pile, but I can build something if I have the resources to build it. And I think I'm going to build this obelisk. So that'll cost me 3 metal, 1 energy, and a card to trash. So now I have built 2 factories. And then we move on to the next turn. My extra dice have gone back here because my contracting turn is over. So I just have my 4 original dice again. So we're in the next turn. So I'm going to pick up a card. And I'm just going to get this one. Then I refill that. And then someone else's turn. And then we move to the work phase. So again, I roll my dice. I take a look at my workers. I've got 2 5s, a 4, and a 2. Now I am low on cards. I only have 1 card. So even to produce more goods, I need more cards. So I'm actually going to put the 2 here so I can pick up 2 more cards. I'm going to put the 4 here to gain a medal. And let's see. I like this card, so I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to place my 2 5s here, and I trash 2 cards, and I get 2 more goods. And then we move on. Now I'm going to simulate gameplay silently for the next few turns until I have either 10 factories or have produced 12 goods. I will note one thing here, that you cannot have any duplicate factories unless they say that you may build more than one. So this obelisk, I can build multiple of obelisks, but I could not, for instance, build a second trash compactor because I already have one. So on this turn, if I wanted to get the architect, I could pay the same symbol, pay that to get the architect. And what this does is I get to draw 3 more cards, and another person that I'm playing with also gets to draw 1 card. So I get to draw 3. And then the other player gets to draw 1, which we'll just put in the trash pile. Okay, so I have built 12 goods. So everybody gets 1 more turn, and then it's the end of the game and we count points. I was trying really hard to build this second beacon, but I have this symbol, and I was trying to get a card that I could trash. I did not find that. So I can build as many things as I want on this last turn, but I do not have the card cost to build this second beacon. So that's too bad. And that's my last turn. So now I will gather everything up and count out my points. So I get 1 point each for goods, so 13 points there, and then I get the points indicated on the card. So 15, and then this one has a special one, the beacons, another 2, so 17 for just 1 beacon here. So I get 30 points for my board. That is the game. Thank you for joining me in playing Fantastic Factories. Happy gaming!